ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी। विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गीता ध्यानम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीपः। प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधिर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला। अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरननदी कैवर्तकः केशवः। पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम्। लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसि न श्रेयसे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ Namaskaram to everyone. And today we begin a series of reflections from the Bhagavad Gita in the form of small workshops with you. So this year we will have 12 such thematic series touching upon the significant topics of the Bhagavad Gita, and in the manner in which the Bhagavad Gita begins, the first chapter being what we call Arjuna Vishada Yoga, we chose a topic for today, and that topic is my life battles. My inner life battles. And I have sent to you yesterday certain reflections. This would be my style to help you reflect on the topic we are going to take up, so that you have thought through certain matters personally and connected in your own way to your own Bhagavad Gita studies which you have been doing in your own groups. And so these reflections said, how do I perceive my life battles? Are my personal battles similar to Arjuna's in the context of the Bhagavad Gita? And if you think so, if they are, then list them, so we can begin to draw parallels. And the third question was, do I consider the ancient solutions from Lord Krishna relevant to mine, to my battles in modern life and modern times? And if I consider them relevant, then the question I finally asked was, in which manner? How are they relevant according to you? Well, this was some teasers, as they say, to get us thinking along these lines, and really speaking, to understand in drawing parallels in this context of Bhagavad Gita learning. Let us look at this topic very closely. To begin with, the Bhagavad Gita begins with Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakav Pandavas Chaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. To begin with, this whole battle of Arjuna started as a war of Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is a dharma kshetra, in the sense, in this Kurukshetra was the war between dharma and adharma. A war between right and wrong, and this was the duty of the Kshatriyas, the royal families at that time. It was their bounden duty to protect dharma. Arjuna, the brilliant prince, brave he was, unconquerable in war he was, confident he was, brilliant, intelligent he was. And there, when he enters the battlefield, ready to fight this war, being on the right side, he was to protect dharma, and he finds himself at a crucial moment losing his perspectives. Please note the points I make to begin to draw parallels with your own life. Well, here Arjuna, at the crucial moment, he loses perspective. He is unable to recall his insights about right and wrong. He is unable to remember what all the knowledge that was given to him about what his duties are from his family, from his teachers. And he is so overwhelmed with conflicting thoughts, with conflicting emotions. Arjuna is overwhelmed. Well, not only that, this situation that Arjuna found himself in, well, how did that happen? And the first chapter itself discusses Tatra pashyat sthitan partha pitrunatha pitamahan acharyan matulan bhratrun putran pautran sakins tatha, and so on. Here, what he sees before him are all the people that he idealizes, people that he idealizes, people whom he respects in his life, his own relatives, his own friends, his own teachers, his own dear grandfather. All of these people is whom he sees standing in front. The elders, the children, the grandchildren in the family, they are all standing there. And it hits him that he is going to be responsible for their death very soon. And with this insight into what is coming, Arjuna finds himself overwhelmed with shoka or grief, sorrow. And therefore it is said, Karpanya doshopahata swabhavaha. He is dharma sammudha chetaha. He is so confused and conflicted. He finds himself overwhelmed with his attachment to his relatives, and this is called bandhu snehaha. When there is an attachment, there is a leaning, there is an affinity towards your relatives, which clouds your thinking of what is right, what is wrong, which interferes with your own so-called duties to protect dharma, what is right. That situation, that makes him, he's overwhelmed with sadness. And so we can say, bandhu sneha or affection towards people you love, when you feel that you are the cause of their death, then what happens? Well, there is a overwhelming sadness in Arjuna. Kindly draw your parallels. Not only is there sadness, there is also confusion. Shoka and moha go together. Sorrow and confusion goes together. And so he is confused about what he must do and what he must not do. He is bound by the duties of a royal household. He is a prince. He is responsible for maintaining dharma. He is responsible for protecting people who live with dharma. It's not only you maintain, you protect those who are dharmic people, righteous people. It is his duty to punish those who transgress dharma, is it not? That was his duty, to punish those who transgress dharma, so that goodness in society prevails. And dereliction of one's duty will lead to chaos, will harm a society. And when Arjuna thinks of that, it seems appropriate to fight this war. But then when he thinks of the death of his own people, and that also causing equal chaos, because it will be a society where all these men, the heads of households, would have been gone, the women would have been left as widows, there would be so much confusion. For their protection, they will marry other people, and it will really cause a great chaos in the structure of the society. Really speaking, Arjuna's question is, in doing this duty, am I really protecting dharma? Will dharma really be saved? Please, let us look at questions later. Let us listen to this context very closely. So the question here is, will dharma be saved? It is Arjuna's question in chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. He wonders whether I will personally incur a sin of killing. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kula dharma sanatana. He goes on arguing with Arjuna, as you have seen arguing with Lord Krishna, as you have seen in chapter 1. And all this is for what? To get the kingdom, no? And he says, I don't want a kingdom if it's going to bring bloodshed to my own people. Nakangshe vijayam Krishna, nacha rajyam sukhani cha. I don't want this kingdom. I don't want the pleasures. I don't want any of this, because I don't think anymore whether I fight the war, I'm protecting dharma, or if I don't fight the war, I am protecting dharma. So this is called when you see no options. In life, you see no options. When we find we have no alternatives, right? It happens. And when win or lose, Arjuna concludes, I am a loser. Whether I win the war or I lose the war, I am a loser all the way. And so he finds himself backed into a corner. He finds himself immobilized, which is exactly what confusion does to us. Grief and confusion makes you feel like you are cornered, feels that I am immobilized, and this particular situation of Arjuna in fighting this war is really where he is at. Okay? If you look at the nature of human conflicts, right? Human conflicts begins always with these free will and choices, is it not? We don't find animals having a conflict. They have no choice. They know exactly how to behave. If I'm unwell, stop eating and drinking. If we are unwell, even if we don't feel like we believe we must eat and drink, even there we have confusions. Every step of the way we have choices, and where there is choices, there is inevitable tendency for conflict. And so here, this conflict between two options, look at this. When your option is between right and right, then there is no distress, correct? If my option is between right or right, if I take this road or I take that road, I will reach my home. Both roads are right, taking me to my destination. There is no conflict. Between right and right, there is no distress. Between right and wrong, there is definitely distress. There is definitely confusion. Between right and wrong, if I have to choose, I can feel immobilized. What if there is a choice to be made between wrong and wrong? Which choice will you make? Both sides it's wrong. I am confused now. I don't have a capacity to decide. How will you decide? Well, I will only choose between the two wrongs. Maybe take that which is less wrong, right? Which is less wrong. However, you conclude that this is less wrong than that wrong, then let me go with this wrong than that wrong, because that's all I have for choosing. Well, what does this situation of Arjuna have to do with me? What does it have to do with me? What is the human battle? What is the battle that I am fighting? It's very interesting. There is only one battle that we are fighting together. Together. All of us as humanity today, there is only one battle that we are fighting, and that is the battle of coronavirus, is it not? This is the only battle where we have all come together, agreeing that we don't want this asura, this demon standing before us. And so we are in alignment, really in alignment. And like this asura, this demon keeps mutating, you know. Our asuras, demons in our mythology, they used to change form. They used to change form. Corona asura this is asura, a demon. He changes forms, it mutates. And there were demons. If there was a Rakta Bija demon, and if a drop of blood fell in his fight on the ground, another demon will emerge from that drop of blood. So like that, this corona seems to clone itself, multiply. Well, definitely we have one common enemy. Yes, Ammaji, that's why I want to know, does Bhagavad Gita have an answer to the coronavirus? To the corona battle? What does Gita have an answer to? How does Arjuna's situation work for me? Will Gita answer my questions? Is an inevitable question we all have. And we need to understand the answers given in the Gita, we need to understand a basic framework here. The Gita presents what we call the human battle. Human beings, an individual fights many battles. Understand, in life we fight battles and battles and battles in our life. An individual fights battles, but a soul on his journey on earth fights a war. We fight, really, we are fighting a war. We are in a war. But what we are doing is we are fighting battles. Let me explain. Let me explain the difference between battle and war. I'm sure you already know this. In our civilization, battles are fought between individuals, Between individuals, between groups, is it not? Within a family, you fight battles with your teenager, with your young kids at home. You fight battle, a teenage fights a battle with the parents. A neighbor fights a battle with the neighbor. Or a gang fights battles with another gang, is it not? You don't fight a war, do you? We fight battles. Small groups fight battles. One community fights battles with another community. These are called battles. Wars are fought for ideologies, is it not? Wars are fought for resources and ideologies. World War I was fought for imperialism, for nationalism, for alliances and so on. World War II was fought for this narcissism or whatever. These were all wars that were fought for ideologies. That's where we say we have religious wars. We don't say religious battles, religious wars. World War I, World War II, there are many wars civilization has fought. Within a war, there are many battles, small battles, which are won and which are lost. In the end, what counts is winning the war, is it not? Winning the war is what counts. Look at this situation. If you look at Mahabharata itself, you know the situation between Pandavas and Kauravas. Every day there was a new formation, army formation, is it not? We had Chakra Vyuha, we had Garuda Vyuha, the different army formations. Some days Kauravas were on the winning front. Some days Pandavas were doing better. When Bhishma came into action, that day looks like Kaurava is going to win the war, because that day, that battle was destructive to the Pandavas. There were other days when Pandavas were winning the battles. Within a war, there can be many battles. Some battles you win, some battles we lose. But finally, what matters is who wins the war. If this is clear to us, then let us see as an individual. As an individual, are you fighting battles or war? Well, I think we are fighting battles. So many battles in many fronts. Fronts which are outside, fronts which are within. I fight my physical limitations. Is it not? Physical limitations I fight. I want to fly like a bird. I feel stifled in this body, maybe. There are some of us who have limitations with diseases. I fight my disease. These are called physical battle. We fight emotions. I battle my emotions. Constantly I'm battling my emotions. I'm battling with my inner conflicts, is it not? I battle with my distressing moods that I have. I battle to overcome my inadequacies. I battle to overcome my confusions. I battle with my ignorance. However much I learn, I always feel I don't know enough. Come to join our Sanskritam classes. You will experience this specific battle. Feeling inadequate in your learning. I feel inadequate. I battle with my memory, scratch my head, unable to remember. I battle with a lack of skills in dealing with so many situations that keep emerging in my life. No? Well, not only within, I get into battles with others around me. There are people out there who seek to hurt me. I battle them. And even sometimes people who wish me well, my own friends, I misread them and I battle with them. Look at this, how much battling I do, inner battles with my juggling with the roles I play in my life. As a mother, as a wife, as an employee, as an employer, as a businesswoman, as a German, as an Indian, as a community leader, as a village head. In all my interpersonal relationships, how much demands come. My child demands, my spouse demands, my parent demands, my friend demands, my employees demand, and it goes on, and I'm juggling all the time. Among these battles, I fight. I win some and I lose some. You agree? No, Ammaji, I lose mostly, very rarely I win. Don't worry, if you're in such a situation, that's called a special, astrologically you're going through a very bad period, it'll pass, don't worry. You'll come to some kind of a balance. Where your winning and losing will go on with its ups and downs, right? And so the question is, please understand the question, because in this question is your context of first chapter of the Gita. The question is life only about winning and losing battles? Is life only about earning some glories or some disgrace? Is that all? Life is, that's all? Which battle you win and which you lose? Or at the end of it all, do I win the war? Is this all a journey of life that's helping me understand the bigger picture? The Bhagavad Gita takes us to the next dimension of an insight. It tells us, as a jiva, as an individual on earth, I'm fighting a war of samsara, a war of samsara chakra, you know. Chakra is this wheel of samsara. A lifetime of battles full of action, reactions are called karma and karma phala. Actions and their consequences are called karma and karma phala. And this karma and karma phala, action and their consequences, I like a consequence, I don't like a consequence, I win a consequence I want, I don't win the result I want. So this particular juggling or maneuvering, how does it end? Does it ever end? The Gita says, it continues. The story here is it continues from one life to another in an unending war. This war never ends. This is the lot of me as an individual. This war never ends. Why? Because the samsara means as long as you keep holding on to the experience of inadequacies, limitations, mortality, self-ignorance, it will continue from birth to birth, life after life after life. In spite of all the victories you get in the world, in spite of all these small battles every day that you will win, you will always want to win more and more. Because you will keep hoping you will be better off. You know, it's like a tribal. A tribal wants to, in his community, he wants to be a tribal chief. Once he is a tribal chief, then he wants to be the king of many tribes. When he is a king, then he wants to be the emperor of the entire land. When he is the emperor, now he wants to be the ruler of the planet. This wanting to win every battle with life, this want itself is called samsara chakra, and it goes on life after life, in and through multiple lives. Then what do I do? The first chapter of the Gita is called, in our Vedantic tradition, Purushartha Vichara. Purushartha Vichara means an inquiry into my Purushartha, my efforts. Inquiring into the efforts that I put, karma that I do. I must have some goals in mind, right? With what goals am I putting in my effort? An inquiry into this is what Bhagavad Gita introduces in chapter 1. For example, when we say we are battling with life, what do we mean? Well, we are hustling, we have become hustlers for artha, for money. We are hustlers for future securities, battling for security, battling for stability, battling to fulfill my desires, kama. I have so many desires. Others have the same desire as me. Me and my sister, both of us desire this young Mr. Right. But I thought he is Mr. Right for me, but she thinks the same way. And so I become a hustler. I begin to manipulate, to be a winner in this battle. For kama, I fight. For artha, securities, I fight. For dharma, I fight. To uphold dharma also I fight. What I consider as right. Arjuna has done all these fights. All his life he has been doing these fights. And now Arjuna, as he expresses his own feelings, in artha and kama, he always saw to it that he never violated his boundaries and protected dharma always because he thought dharma is really the ultimate goal of life. But today dharma is also failing him. He's seeing that dharma is not going to protect. What fighting or no fighting, both ways, I'm going to be the cause of only destruction. If people are not there, where will dharma be protected? Right? Dharma is protected only when right people are there. Like knowledge is not protected in the libraries. God is not going to protect your knowledge. When knowledge enters people who have the knowledge, knowledge is protected with wisdom, with scholarship, with individuals. Dharma is not protected as a concept. Dharma is protected by practitioners of dharma. And so Arjuna has done that too. And today that dharma, if people die in this war, who will be protected? There is nobody there to hold on to dharma. And therefore dharma, according to Arjuna, is also limited. It's failing him. And so he wishes to know, instead of fighting individual battles, he wants to know what is the bigger picture. What is this war with life? Is there really a war with life? He needs answers, and seeking answers for this, he seeks what is ultimately good. The state in which I am is not good. It is a state of confusion. What is ultimately good? Arjuna wants to know what is the ultimate war for this person who is born on earth, for which he has been fighting so many battles through so many lifetimes. What is the real war of a human life? Why am I here? What for? What is my journey of life for? Arjuna suddenly finds himself asking the fundamental question. Why? Because the first three purusharthas of dharma, artha, kama have become meaningless for him. He wants deep answers. Is life all about fighting battles? If I'm only fighting battles, when am I going to begin to live life? How am I going to live life in harmony and joy and fullness as all other life forms seem to be living in a balance? There doesn't seem to be a hope for me. Krishna, oh Krishna, I know you know the answer to this question. There is a fundamental urge that we all have. We are all searching for a freedom from a life of struggle and becoming and limitation. We've been battling individual experiences, but really what we are seeking is so innate, an innate desire this is, to be ever happy, to be ever living, to be ever, I don't want mortality. I want to be full, I want to be free, I want to be free from sorrow and limitations. This is an urge. Today I have recognized a very, very organic, a very granular, a very basic urge, a fundamental urge in me. Krishna, you have the answer for this. I am told there is something called moksha, another pursuit which is free of, which is beyond this artha, kama, dharma. I've heard, I've seen in the forests sages living. They were not living for money or fulfilling desires or even trying to protect dharma. They were just living, doing something different. They were living for something deeper, for a fullness, for a life free of limitations. They were living a life of moksha in wisdom. What were they doing? What is that? I want that. I don't want to be a protector of dharma. No, I want moksha. In other words, I want shreyas. This is called arriving at where you want to go. Before you take your car out and put your Google map, you need to do what? First thing, turn on the engine and put the address, your destination, isn't it? We need to put the destination should be clear. If my destination is fighting battles, small battles, winning battles, I may lose the big war, understand? But if I keep the bigger war in perspective, the bigger picture, it's my journey towards moksha, and these small battles, whether I win or lose, don't matter. What matters always is the highest pursuit. And so Arjuna asks him this question, and well, when he asks, a certain attitude is shown. Because as long as Arjuna thought, I have the answers, Lord Krishna never spoke. He was a friend of Arjuna. He never told him that, hey, I am a incarnation, I am your guru, behave with me properly. No, he was a friend, and so they were friends. They were buddies. But today Arjuna is asking, Shishyasteham, I am so confused, feel so cornered, I am lost because I feel immobilized. My duties are not giving me the happiness. All the karma I do has failed. Science has failed me. Technology has failed me. My spouse has failed me. My children have also failed me. My parents, they failed me long ago. What has not failed me? My job has failed me. They threw me out in Corona. And Corona, my God, there is this demon standing on my head. Anytime it can enter my lungs. Everything has failed me. I am immobilized. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Give me an answer. Teach me what is truth, what is real war. I am tired of winning small battles. I don't want to look there anymore. Whether it is artha, kama, dharma, I don't care. I want moksha. I want to win the war. That's what matters to me in this lifetime. And so he asks, he understands his helplessness, but he seeks help. He understands he doesn't have answers, only then you will seek help. And so he seeks help from Krishna, and looking at him as his teacher, as a person of wisdom who has the answers, and he prostrates, surrenders to him. In this surrender, what is it? It is seeing a disciple in himself. So many contexts are given here when you see in yourself a disciple of the Gita, of Lord Krishna's teachings, your receptivity is of a different dimension. Your attitudes are different. You're willing to hear, you're willing to learn. And with this approach, Arjuna approaches Krishna, and Lord Krishna first sympathizes. with a smile on his face, he first sympathizes with Arjuna's helplessness. And after sympathizing his sorrow, he validates his conflicts and confusions, and he assures Arjuna of a solution. He assures him of a solution, and he begins his teachings. Ashocyananvashocastvam prajnavadamscha bhashase gatasu nagatasumscha nanushocanti panditaha. And so here, it is moving Bhagavad Gita through Arjuna's conflicts. We are taught to move from the small fights and battles into the larger picture. Look at this war where the human being has arrived one more time on earth as one more lifetime of his so many lifetimes he has been coming back on earth to only grow and grow, to learn, to understand, to become wiser, to know his own nature. Lord Krishna is going to begin the teachings in a highest way, in the most exalted way. He is going to give Arjuna a great hope, a great glimpse into the truth. And what is that? That the truth is, he says, human beings have a universal problem. And the problem is of self-judgment. The human beings have a universal problem, and the problem is of self-judgment. Arjuna, understand one fact: you are already Purnaha, you are a whole being, you are a being of fullness, you are a being of light. Essentially, that is who you are. But if you experience dissatisfactions, if you experience inadequacies, is, you know why? Is because you are ignorant of your nature, and you go against this nature of yours, and you not knowing who you are, you take on the body inadequacy limitation as your limitation. You take on the mind's inadequacies as your inadequacy. You are not body or mind. He gives Arjuna a glimpse into the truth of his soul. You are an eternal being of light, Purnaha. All these limitations don't belong to you, Arjuna. In fact, your fear of death is what has immobilized you, but the soul has no death. Whether your soul or their soul was never born, that it would die. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Even when the body is being killed, the soul will not die. And there begins the beautiful, profound teachings in which Lord Krishna reveals the nature of who I am. And once I can own up, once I can awaken to my essential nature, what will happen? Well, what can happen? Worrying about battles in life every day, it will drop. There will be no more wars to fight even. Awakening, self-awakening is that awakening in which life is no more a battle. is no more even a war. It is just a journey of the divine into divinity. It is a journey of the wise in wisdom. And therefore, this is our abode, this is our destination. To get there, to achieve that destination, we require a car. We require a well-fueled car. We require an equipment that supports us in this journey. And therefore, and so here we are looking at if the destination is moksha and my human journey is a life journey, then how is my approach to my daily struggles, daily battles? Are they going to be battles? Am I going to define them as battles? Or my perception of my life journey changes totally? The twofold teachings of the Gita is one, unfolding the nature of the self as an eternal being, and number two, showing us how to perceive life journey, how to perceive it, how to perceive karma and karma phala, how to perceive rebirth, how to perceive our relationships, how to perceive everything I do, how to re-educate myself in the wisdom of living day-to-day life. And those tools is called Yoga Shastra in the Bhagavad Gita. So we have not only Brahma Vidya, we have Yoga Shastra. Yoga means tools. Tools that help me. Tools that help me physically, Hatha Yoga. Tools that help me move my rajas, my life of activity, called Karma Yoga. Tools that help me understand my connection to the divine until I know I am the divinity myself. Until I recognize I am that sacred being. What is my connection to the sacred? Well, that is Bhakti Yoga. And to be able to assimilate all this in my life is Dhyana Yoga. To be able to have the right perception of the world is a very important tool the Gita presents called values or dharma, and thus presenting every chapter has different tools, so that no more, even while before I reach my destination, the very journey should become enjoyable, because it is a journey of the sacred towards the sacred, no? What is there to battle here? There is no more battles. The perception of life as battle disappears, and the very journey becomes an opportunity to grow and learn. Every day lived fully, keeping the final goal in perspective, means what? I have won my day today. If I have grown wee bit from yesterday, I am better off and closer to my big war, correct? Which is no more a war, it is an abode with the eternal being. And therefore, the attitude towards life as battling with life, right? You are really battling with life only in the ICU, understand? There we battle with life, with our oxygen, with the ventilators. But outside the ICU, intensive care unit, life is not a battle. Every day lived is an opportunity. Every time the sun rises, He gives me life for me to grow and learn how to blossom, how to grow as a better and better person, closer and closer to my highest self, and remain a life in fullness, live a life in fullness. And so, it is about shifting perspectives. Today, it was important for us, as the first of the series of 12 workshops, I wanted to set the context to understand Bhagavad Gita is not going to solve your battles, understand. It will definitely help you understand the war which you need to win. Even if I lose a few battles with my spouse, it's okay. If my teenage kid gets ahead of me, it's okay. You don't have to win every battle, but you must definitely keep the large perspective in front of you. And when we do that, Lord Krishna helps us see, hey, it is no more a war, it is a journey into yourself for your highest self. That is what is called life. That is exactly how we need to educate ourselves to understand life experiences. So with this, I shall, having presented the Bhagavad Gita's perspective, the first chapter, the context of Lord Krishna and Arjuna, as well as our own lives with our learning process, I will close here and open it up for interactions and questions. All right? Om Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhake Sharanye Trembake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Continue. Any questions?
Hello, Ammaji. Hi there.
Yes, Kaushik?
Hi there. I do have a question, which is, if there are battles and there is a war, I really like that metaphor. Makes sense. And if you're transcend, if you're maybe at your stage or your closest other stage, where you're transcending that and going beyond the war itself. But for a normal person, meaning like for a lay person, it seems to me like there are certain battles that mean more than other battles. And how do you recognize them? Okay, maybe I'm having a chat with my father and I'm trying to prove that I'm right. And there's no need for me to do that. Maybe I'm just doing it for vanity's sake, right? Oh, it's my father, I need to be right, I'm growing up, I'm a 26-year-old now, I need to do all these things. That battle I can see as one that I don't need to win, right? That is one I can say, I can let this one go. But other more personal battles, let's say, once again, as a 26-year-old male, maybe you have battles regarding your sexual urges and your promiscuity, which once again are a daily battle, right? These are not, and that to me seems like it matters more than being right with my father. And how do you is there a way to recognize what matters, that you actually control yourself and you choose the right path, and where, you know what, this is not actually important to the bigger journey, the longer journey?
Yeah. A beautiful question, Kaushik. There are small battles and there are large battles. Basically, that's what we are saying. Some that we can let go, some we cannot. Here, the whole the whole approach in the Bhagavad Gita is, why do you label it as a battle? And then operate from an ego to fight it. The very starting point is being questioned. You see? We declare it as a battle and then we are there, ninjas, fighting with life. So why do we need to do it? We don't need to do that. We need to understand life. We need to understand, we need to have better threshold. We need to be able to understand life as giving us experiences which are conducive for our learning and growth. What I consider at times in my life that I have failed or I didn't do well, it may not be a failure. Those were misjudgments that I thought I could win. I had not taken some unknown factors into account because they were unknown. And so now I see, okay, this is the outcome of this effort. Now I'll do things differently because I have learned something in this effort. So every experience needs to be measured in terms of my learning, rather than thinking whether I won or I lost. I won, I lost. That's how we get stressed out, no?
Definitely. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Ammaji, I have heard that half the world population died because of this war, and also all the male community who were doing all the sadhanas, they all died, because of which there was a setback in the spiritual practices we did, which is having an impact even now. 5,000 years before, whatever all the male flocks, all the spiritual sadhana they did, we have lost all those because a lot of men population who did all those died. So that impact is there still now. And is it really worth fighting such a battle just for 5 people? What if they have followed like Rama? Rama was he followed the Vedantic principles. I feel this is opposite to Vedantic principles. In Vedantic principles, we just accept what other people do, and then we feel that the karma is getting washed. If they have lived a life accepting that, their karma would have got washed, and anyway they will be winners in the ultimate journey. So I always think this whether that is really worth. That.
No, that's a good point. We must always understand, civilization moves through thousands of years. The human mind, human consciousness is always shifting in time. As it moves through time, it keeps shifting. So when you're talking about the civilization 30,000 years ago, 40,000 years ago, which is where, Sri Rama lived. Well, some historians say 10,000 years ago. Okay, let it be 10 or 20,000, whatever. There is something called a civilizational consciousness. And it moves in it's a yuga to yuga shift. So at Treta Yuga, there was a certain mind, a framework. When the yuga shifts to Dwapara, it is it is downward cycle. It's downward cycle. In Kali Yuga, you come to the bottommost, and then again the cycle goes up. The consciousness moves up, grows, because you gain your experiences and then you grow. You go up. Now, from Treta to Dwapara is a shift from Ramayana to Mahabharata. It is not that why we have to fight the war. The question is, there needs to be a balance in the world between the right and the wrong, dharma and adharma. There needs to be a balance. This balance, when it is toppled and adharma goes up and dharma becomes frozen, dharma has become cornered, dharma is unable to speak, and this goes on growing, there is no ecological balance, right? There is no organic balance, there is no balance in the moral order of things. And therefore, to re-establish the moral order, the people who represent justice have got to do the needful for that purpose without being afraid, without being demoralized. A man sitting on the chief justice sitting in the court cannot suddenly have compassion for the serial killer and say, I am overwhelmed with compassion because he is my cousin brother. Hey, you have killed so many people. No, but I have compassion. I am confused. Is it my duty to hang him, give him capital punishment, or should I let him free? So this is how conflicts come, no? But on that chair, he is meant to be justice. Justice for the people who have suffered this person's killings. So you may want to save this life, but were you there to save other lives that he killed? Therefore, Chief Justice has his model of executing, the reward or the punishment. Society has set up models to execute reward or punishment to the people. Similarly, Lord Krishna in his incarnation guides Arjuna that this is a question of, it is not now, it is going on for decades. This whole generation that is sitting in the throne are destroying, they are destructive in nature. They cannot bring balance to the moral order, and therefore this war has to be fought. And any war fought, there are losers are on, even the winning side loses, Even the winners of war lose because they lose their people, they lose so much. Once things reach to a level of a war, no side wins, really speaking, no side wins. Because the pain, the agony, everything, the destructions, no side wins. But humanity never thinks that. That is how the civilization is, right? So therefore, yes, there were losses. Yes, its impact is there. Yes, Dwapara Yuga took us to Kali Yuga. And yes, we are reeling in our confusions. But the good news is, we are bouncing back. The modernity, the consciousness of the people in re-sensitizing themselves with the earth, with the ecology, is growing so fast. Theologies and ideological religions and all, they are breaking down. People who are connected to nature, people who are connected to the earth, people who are connected to dharma, to humanities, to human family, that community is growing in a big way. People who are spiritual practitioners, they are growing like anything. So there is definitely a resurge, a civilizational awakening is happening. And I do believe, and my guru used to say in his lifetime, that we have, Kali Yuga is gone. Don't keep on saying Kali Yuge, Prathame Pade, Jambu Dvipe. Don't do in your Sankalpa as if we are in the first pada of Kali Yuga. We are not. He used to say that we are shifting, we are moving into a higher consciousness, and that means this kind of a spiritual guidance, searching, looking, it's happening all over the world, which was which was not there even 40 years, 50 years ago. You understand? So we need to see things from bigger perspectives, larger. And we are in one journey of that. This lifetime, this era, we are all together. It's only one birth of the so many births, but moving towards higher consciousness, evolving as people, learning from our, like Kaushik beautifully asked, and I think I beautifully answered, that every experience needs to be a message towards growth rather than judgment of a battle with life. That's the shift in my perspective. My perception has to make, I need to make that shift as spiritual practitioners. If Bhagavad Gita is my calling, if I see myself as a student of the Gita, then please understand, we seeing ourselves as practitioners, spiritual practitioners. And a spiritual practitioner has no fight with the world or fight with his life. He's always learning. He's put himself as a learner to learn what today life is teaching me. What my rub with my husband, what does it tell me about myself? What does my fight with my child teach me? What does my love with my neighbor tell me about me? So every experience, how is it enhancing who I truly am, or how it is deflating who I truly am, It's a learning. Life is for us to learn. My guru used to say, life experiences teach. When? Only when I am ready to learn. If I am sitting there as a ninja wanting to fight with life, there will be no learning. I'll be the same arguments with my husband in my teenage love. Even after 50 years into marriage, I'll keep on arguing with him the same way. Why? Because I'm not grown. Therefore, the outlook needs to change.
Yeah, thank you, Ammaji.
Yes, Isabel.
Yes, I would have a question, Ammaji.
Yes.
Well, is my life's journey, is it in the end all about myself's journey towards moksha? Or is it appropriate or even my responsibility to intervene or to engage when I feel Dharma is violated? When the political situation or the social situation, when I feel they work against environment or nature, or even now the situation especially in Europe, maybe how the social situation is for kids. They are restricted and separated, isolated in a way which it might not be appropriate and helpful. So is it on me to engage and to, if I feel it's adharmic what happens, or is it to step back and take care about my journey towards moksha?
See, it is not, if we don't compartmentalize our activities. Whatever I do, it is my journey towards moksha. Whatever I do. Because it is the way I perceive, I see things, So if it's something like if my child is falling and I'm there, now I'm not going to ask whether, is this going to help me get my moksha? Should I spend my time lifting him up? But if I find myself going there to do the needful, I may be missing something else out. I may be missing out on something else. So is it what I do that's going to decide, or is it how I, if in my daily activity, remaining centered, remaining composed, extending my love, extending my unconditionality, wherever possible in my family, in my neighborhood, in my society, in my country, whatever is practically feasible for a human being, I do what, where my calling is, but it is not the doing as much as it is my attitude. It is with what approach I do, you know. If I think I'm going to be the savior, and if I don't go there, I mean, things are not going to change, well, then that's not a moksha approach. But if I feel that, yes, I am in this situation, and, you know, I will do the needful and I'll do my best, but nothing may change, but I need to do this, okay, then go ahead and do it. You see? So it is not about where you invest. Of course, there is some meaning in that also, but the focus is me. The focus is my approach. I can help people. There are siddhas, there are saints who are not even in society, but they are protecting the balance on earth at energy levels. They are connected to the ecosystem, they are connected to healing the earth. So how are they doing it? Are they giving physical time? But they have grown, and in every level of your growth you only keep healing and connecting and healing and helping, and that is called operating from unconditionality in giving, no? So the awareness and the focus is about evolving into a being of unconditional love. How this being expresses in society, in day-to-day living, may be just a housewife, maybe just a employee, maybe just a retired old lady. It doesn't matter. Am I a being of light is what matters. Have I reached my goal? Am I on that journey is what matters. Does that make sense?
Yes, Ammaji, thank you.
Yeah. If any of you in this group have not yet signed for Bhagavad Gita group study or have not undertaken, this is the time to really begin. And I would request you to, as Suresh mentioned in the beginning of the session, he had shown you the phone number and the email ID. Please give your information and show your interest to learn, and we will help you in creating a group of people who are wanting to start learning. And before we meet in the next workshop, you will have, the opportunity to form a group and begin your studies. We have a beautiful program of listening to video pre-recorded talks, verse by verse of the Gita. It has summaries of every chapter. There are reflections of every chapter with your own life reflection and the topic covered. And we also have give you an opportunity to learn how to chant the verses if you so desire. And so it's a very comprehensive learning package. And if you have not yet started, once a week, it's just once a week, 1.5 hours. You can easily, with this online learning, it has become so much simpler, and that 1.5 hours would change so much for you in your life. So please don't miss an opportunity to inform us so that we can support your startup, and I will be there personally to do a live startup session for you. Okay? Any other questions you may have, please ask. If not, we will have a Gita Aarti, which we will recite together. If you have, please ask.
Namaste, Ammaji. This is nothing related to the Gita, but I just want to clarify, is there another workshop later on, a satsang?
Yes, Malika, right?
Malika.
Yeah, Malika.
Yes.
We have every weekend I do these public sessions. So in Bhagavad Gita, third Saturday of every month, I have the Bhagavad Gita. For those who are studying the Gita and those who wish to study the Gita, they join these workshops. The second Saturday of the month, we do heritage workshops for families, for corporates, for women, for young people, for young generation. And every first Saturday we do Sevak Satsangs, which is closed group for those who are doing seva or serving Purna Vidya's vision and mission. I have a exclusive satsang for them, for their own inner journey, their own personal growth. These are the 3 workshops. And every Saturday morning at 11:45 we have a Vedanta class teachings. Every Sunday morning we have Ramayana live class which happens. So Saturday, Sunday mornings, India time is for Vedanta and heritage learning. Evenings are meant for these workshops. This is how we have this on a weekly basis. So we will again post our flyer in the group so that you mark you're welcome to join any of them. In the flyer which Suresh ji showed you, there was meeting ID and password also put there so that you can have that sheet printed out and you know exactly when what is being done and you can join into the Zoom link.
Okay, Ammaji. If there's a confusion now with our group that there's going to be another satsang later on at 7:30, but I thought that's the one that you have changed to 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
Is this the one?
yeah. Then that is a confusion. Please inform your group that
Okay.
the 7:30 satsang has been shifted to 5 p.m.
Okay,
because
so this is the one that,
yeah, because our students in Australia and Malaysia and all were not able to join. It was very late, Singapore. And so today many more people have come who are regular students of the Gita and other verticals. You know, we are teaching Sanskritam, heritage, Gita. So people have been able to join because we preponed to 5. We did that deliberately. Yeah, but so 7:30 you're free. You can go out for your dinner. No problem.
all right, thank you, Ammaji.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I think we are done for now. So we will recite the Gita Aarti together. You can keep your sheet before you. Om Jaya Bhagavad Gita Maya Jaya Bhagavad Gita Harihiya Kamala Viharini Harihiya Kamala Viharini Sundara Supunite Om Jaya Bhagavad Gita Karma Sumarma Prakashini Kama Sakti Hara तत्त्वज्ञानविकासिनि तत्त्वज्ञानविकासिनि वेद्या ब्रह्मपरा। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। निश्चल भक्तिविधायिनी निर्मल मलहारी मैया निर्मल मलहारी। शरण रहस्य प्रदायिनी शरण रहस्य प्रदायिनी सब विधि सुखकारी। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। राग द्वेष विदारिणी कारिणी मोद सदा मैया कारिणी मोद सदा। भव भय हारिणी तारिणी भव भय हारिणी तारिणी परमानंद प्रदा। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। आसुर भाव विनाशिनी नाशिनी तमरजनी मैया नाशिनी तमरजनी। दैवी सद्गुणदायिनी दैवी सद्गुणदायिनी हरिरसिका सजनी। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। समता त्याग सिखावनी हरिमुख की बानी मैया हरिमुख की बानी। सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी श्रुतियों की रानी। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। दया सुधा बरसावनी मातु कृपा की जय मैया मातु कृपा की जय। हरिपद प्रेम दान कर हरिपद प्रेम दान कर अपनों कर लीजय। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। मैया जय भगवद्गीते। हरिः कमल विहारिणि हरिः कमल विहारिणि सुंदर सुपुनीते। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।